on my cash stack. High yields on stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi, get money on DeFi, mega cash on MetaMask. You better run when the runners run, show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum, markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton, crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run, you better run when the runners.
Good evening, runners. It is Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. Everything is fine. There is nothing to worry about. There's really nothing much going on. So you guys, just relax, sit back, watch some sports. Nothing to prepare here, right, M.I.M.S? No, we don't have anything to worry about. Everything's fine.
Yeah, that's what they want you to think. That's what mainstream wants you to think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
brother.
I can't really post anything, on the video in the titles, or we're getting shadow banned and censored. We are still unable to go live on Facebook using Restream. So you're just going to have to tune in, because if I put anything about what's going on, we'll get and canceled like always. And just kind of catch you up on what is going on and some things that you might want to do to get ready and prepare for what is coming. So we're just going to kind of go through X here a little bit and catch up what happened during this week. And then we're going to break down the markets, especially the crypto markets kind of getting a little crazy. So again, to me, M.I.M.S, this is just a planned destruction. They knew exactly what to do to destroy America, and they are doing it. And we have to take the steps to make sure it doesn't happen again. So again, guys, this is New York City. You guys can't hear that.
Yeah, make it bigger. No, I could hear it. Actually,
oh, you could? Okay. All right. I did it right then.
Bigger.
All right. So this is New York City in the last week. And you know what I noticed about this last one, Ricardo? I'm not seeing any women or children here.
Right. Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, yeah. They're all men.
They're all like fighting age men, like 20 to 40, maybe 50. But I don't see one woman, no kids. Same thing here. I don't see any women. So that's them getting ready to go into a hotel that you are paying for. So the government is paying to put however these people got here up in hotels on your dime. There's a few women and children. And of course, this is very sad. I don't have anything against these people, but it's the leadership of our country that has allowed this to happen. And now, who knows what's going to happen. This is not good for maintaining the structure of your.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a crisis. It's a crisis. Whether they're doing this to have them join the military and give them citizenship, or whether they're doing this to get votes. The fact of the matter is that we're in a debt crisis right now. The dollar, the fiat monetary system is collapsing right before our eyes, and they don't have a solution. And we're seeing it right now Obviously the party that's in charge, this is the chaos that they're fermenting. This is what they've allowed, and they don't want people to realize this, but because of technologies, it's clear as day because of social media and information.
Yeah, 100%. And this is a classic Kamala post that I just want to make sure everyone knows happened.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. Okay.
Do you have?
Like, bro, you got to be kidding me. I mean, give Lester Holt some credit here. He's at least being like, you haven't been to the border.
Right.
And then she's like, I haven't been to Europe.
Yeah.
And then, does her cackle. I don't understand what you're asking me. If we don't stop people coming across the border, our country is going to be destroyed.
Yeah. That's not leadership. I mean, you can't really address a problem unless you're there on the scene and actually see what's going on. But it's just a failure of leadership. I think it should be as clear as day what the fight is for. Who we're fighting against and who's for the people of America and the citizens and who's not. The Kamala Harris, Joe Biden presidency has been a total failure. Total failure.
The number of FBI moles participating in January 6th will shock Americans. Inspector General of the Department of Justice, Michael Horowitz, was grilled by Congress on Wednesday, at one point admitting the FBI had confidential human sources, or CHS, embedded in the crowd during the January 6th U.S. Capitol debacle.
Okay, so I mean, I've known this forever, but now it's been proven beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt that the FBI, it was a false flag. It was staged. They set it up. It was a trap. They had FBI, people working to start January 6th and then use it to, try to get after Trump. Yeah. Let's see what else we have here. Tens of thousands of violent immigrants with convictions for sexual assault and murder are roaming U.S. streets, according to ICE data. It was about 500,000 convicted felons of murder.
Wow.
Human trafficking.
500,000 people have been led to this country that are convicted for rape and murder.
Yes. So when they come in, they basically, there's like literally an app they get on their phone, and then they push a few buttons and they say, hey, come back in 3 years for your trial, because there's so many people coming in. So then we just trust murderers to go into our country, and they'll come back in 3 years, I'm sure.
Wow.
Now this one, I don't want to scare you guys, but we have to kind of talk about this. An FBI whistleblower urges Americans to stock up on food and prepare for hard times. Marcus Allen revealed the harsh consequences of what happens when you step out of line at the FBI. He was punished by higher-ups after asking why so many federal informants were in the crowd at the January 6th Capitol riot. The FBI questioned my allegiance. So since this is a warning to the American people, I say I personally have no confidence that the FBI will rein in its own conduct. He says to vote, arm yourself. During the Great Depression, people stocked up in their pantry. That's good practice now, especially in today's economy. Make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food. So M.I.M.S, I mean, you talk about this a lot. And again, we don't want to alarm people, but with everything going on right now, Ricardo, what do you think people should be doing right now?
Yeah, I agree with the FBI agent. I think that everybody right now should be on a high alert. I think that you should be preparing and expect the unexpected. There are too many signs. It's as clear as day, actually, what's going on. Unfortunately, a lot of people want to deny it. You want to, stay in your bubble. You want to have a normalcy bias, complacency bias. You hope that nothing is really changing and everything is going to be, fine wherever you are in your community. But the fact is that it's not. And you're going to feel it. Everybody's going to feel it. You're not going to escape it. And the main issue here is the collapse of the dollar and the collapse of this debt-based fiat monetary system on an international scale that is resetting the whole system. And that's what people don't get. So right now, while you might not be feeling it per se, you will feel it later on if you're not feeling it already. If you're not feeling the inflation, if the migrants haven't come to your town, you know, if you haven't got sick from whatever the next bio thing that they release comes out, you know, if the election and so many other things, the war that's going on, so many things are taking place right now, celestial events taking place in the cosmos and everything, signaling that we are in, you know, biblical times, these times that we're in, and you want to prepare. You want to prepare. Don't, you know, they say I'd rather be, you know, have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You know, I'd rather be prepared than unprepared. So yeah, I think you should stock up on food. I think you should be prepared to protect you and your family. I mean, look what happened with the Hurricane Helene and the dams that bust, you know, over there. People just didn't expect that, you know, and they're devastated because of it, you know. And so we don't know, you know, what event is going to take place in what city near you and how it's going to affect you. But you want to be on alert. These are very serious and trying times, and things are just getting worse. They're not going to get better. We're not anywhere out of the woods on this. So I agree with that agent and others that you need to prepare.
Yeah, if you guys, you know, I would, you know, what's that site that you get the rations from, or the MREs?
What is Patriot Supply?
Patriot Supply.
There's a Mountain House, I think, as well. Yeah, but you definitely want to, you know how to access clean drinking water, because if there's something that goes down with the grid or the electricity, you know, you take it for granted when you turn the faucet that the water comes out. Well, you know, if there's an issue with the electricity or something of that nature, that ain't gonna work for you. You need to know how to purify water, source groundwater, you know, have some food, non-perishables, you know, your rice, your pasta, you know, things of that nature. It doesn't hurt to have it, because, you know, at the end of the day, say nothing does happen, it's still a commodity, it's still a resource, it's still something that you can consume and use, you know. So it's better to, you know, to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, and I would just say kind of think like you did when the pandemic hit, but hopefully we've learned about it and you're more rational. So I think they have caused us to get complacent. So stay vigilant out there.
And purify your hearts right now. You know, there's a lot of people who are still angry at somebody because they did something and this and that. I'm telling you, don't go into this time with negativity, with hate or anger or anything in your heart. You want to release all of that, because you don't want to attract the type of energy that is going to, you know, manifest in your life because you're holding on to that negativity. Forgive, you know what I'm saying? We all have trespassed on others, and we hope that we're forgiven, and vice versa. So definitely, you know, get right with your heart, your mind, and your spirit, you know, because the times will get rough, and you want to be around good people during these times. You know, you want to have some good friends and that, you know, good family members that you can rely on.
Yeah, and I want to add to that. This is kind of a shift I've been making as well, especially in this political time, is I think the way we win is love. So I would focus on unity and having compassion for the other side, even if you disagree with them, because I think the more you argue or name call, you're just going to cement those people even further into their ideology.
Yeah.
So
That's what they want.
yes.
Yeah.
So again,
hours.
you know, don't do name calling. Like, I get it. We're going to share certain clips, memes, whatever, but make sure you're coming from a factual basis. You know, don't get into mudslinging, calling people, you know, getting upset about stuff that's not going to help anybody.
Yeah, they want us to destroy they want us to destroy ourselves from within. You know, if you watch that movie Leave the World Behind on Netflix, Obama and his wife was behind that. You know, there's a lot of clues and a lot of insight that you can see from that movie. But they're trying to have us destroy each other from the inside. And they're creating and fostering certain environments where there's going to be division amongst the people. Nobody trusts anybody. Nobody works with anybody, or nobody likes anybody. And then that's why they say a divided nation will fall. And the nation is not necessarily just the government, but it's the people. The government gets its consent from the people. We are,
Yep.
we have the power. We're the community. We're the nation. So it's our ability to not be divided. That's going to allow us to continue to win and thrive. But if they continue to divide us, then we've lost already.
Well, some good news. I couldn't believe this finally happened because you and I have been talking about fluoride for decades. A federal judge rules fluoride possesses an unreasonable risk to children. The conspiracy theorists were right again. Judge Edward Chen has ruled that the EPA must take action on water fluoridation. He found that fluoride poses an unreasonable risk of reducing IQ in children, especially for pregnant women and young kids at the current levels. He dismissed the EPA's argument that it's unclear how much fluoride is dangerous and instead pointed to scientific evidence showing that even the so-called optimal level for dental health care could be harmful. The decision could potentially lead to the end of water fluoridation in the U.S. and a significant blow to the EPA. So hallelujah for that. Why? If you guys don't know, we literally, China sells us fluoride. That's a toxin. It's a byproduct of cement or something like that, some sort of manufacturing thing. It's poison, and they would have to pay to get rid of it. So instead, they sell it to us, and we put it in our water to give to our children. M.I.M.S, it's the craziest thing ever, and you're more knowledgeable about fluoride than I am.
Yeah, this is one of my major battles that I've been fighting, even with even my friends and my family, and I try to get people to understand. There's fluoride in the water, there's fluoride in the toothpaste, and this is a neurotoxin. Hitler used this in Nazi Germany. It calcifies your pineal gland and affects your ability to fight and flight and think. So it's a dumbing down of Americans. But it's a poison. It's a neurotoxin, and the thing is that this, even when they have these levels that they say are safe, most people will consume that product multiple times a day. So some people brush their teeth 3 times a day. So you're getting 3 times the level or exposure of the fluoride or whatever it is, even all these chemicals in the food. People really need to look at the labels when they go to the grocery store and you see this long list of ingredients and stuff that you can't, pronounce. And it says, bioengineered products. Put that shit away, put it back, throw it in the trash, the processed foods and all that stuff. It's coming out now, but this is what people have been saying for years, but this is why I say you have to purify or, get spring water, right? Not purified water, even water bottle companies. You got to look at the labels and read the back and really figure out what they're providing you. Because a lot of time it's just sink water. It's just sink water and it's got a nice package on there. It's purified water. You don't want none of that stuff. If you can't get spring water, then, you're drinking poison. And that's how they're getting you, And so I'm glad to see that because I've been telling my loved ones and, trying to make sure my children don't get, this fluoride exposure from the water and from the toothpaste. And try to tell them to use Tom's or, some type of organic toothpaste, not the Crests and all that, all the different major toothpaste. And, friends and family, they don't take it seriously. They don't really, see yet. I guess they assume because the government allows it on the shelves that it's safe, and I'm a conspiracy theorist. But, like you said, Mike, finally, they're coming out and saying that there's no safe levels, of fluoride in the water. And anybody who's been telling you this stuff, you really need to give them their flowers. You really need to respect them. You really need to listen to them because that's not the only thing that they know. Because for some reason, they're able to tap into that frequency, channel that information, and be aware of how the enemy is trying to attack them on a biological level. And they're trying to expose that to you. Well, they're probably aware of other areas where the enemy is trying to attack you and inhibit your growth and your enlightenment. So those people need to be, listened to and respected. And that's one of the things that I see. But yeah, brother, I'm glad to see that.
Yes. And hopefully it keeps spreading.
Yeah.
And again, guys, this is why it's so important to get involved in politics at the local level. These small cities, if you actually start raising this, it's why are all these small cities putting fluoride in their water? It's absolutely crazy. Now we're going to get to this in a minute, but a lot of people don't even know that the U.S. there's a strike on the U.S. ports has erupted. It's the first shutdown in 50 years. sparks fears of major supply chain crisis. We're going to watch a video about this one later, but this is huge. And here's another one. There was obviously a big hurricane that rocked southern United States, especially Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. The Biden-Harris FCC nuked 20,000 Starlink terminals for North Carolina that could have saved lives because a lot of people don't have any way to communicate. And they rejected allowing those to be there. This one, we're kind of going to get into inflation. I haven't watched this yet, but I wanted to watch it for the first time.
I would argue we're not really thriving right now. This inflation, which by the way was, I would argue we're not really thriving right now. This inflation, which by the way was brought to us by Kamala Harris, has really slowed down people from being able to excel.
By Kamala?
Yes.
Vice president.
Oh, Charlemagne.
It's still the president.
Charlemagne, listen, man. When Joe Biden wanted to do his American Rescue Plan, Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate. She broke the tie that started this inflation that has hurt so many people in our country. Everybody listening to your show, it's not true?
First of all, it's
you sure you want to go there?
Tie-breaking vote.
You sure you want to go there?
Go outside, Congressman. When you go outside,
you sure you want to go there? Okay, let's go there.
You had it.
You got notes. You got notes, Angela, right?
That's fine. I have notes too.
I'm gonna give it to Charlemagne.
I have today
I'm gonna give it to Charlemagne.
is that on every question I've asked,
because Angela, hold on now.
For every infrastructure project in your community,
you can go to
third
page
out
just to
and
highlight a
thank
portion.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the Congress that voted for the American Rescue Plan.
Angela,
that's what should be happening.
Larry Summers wrote an op-ed back in 2021. Larry Summers was the Treasury Secretary for Bill Clinton. He was an economic advisor to Barack Obama. He said that the American Rescue Plan that Joe Biden wanted, that Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate, would create a massive inflation that we have not seen in a generation. Well, guess what? Larry Summers was correct. You know who also was correct, Angela? I was, because I was in the Budget Committee when they brought the bill. And I said in that committee, it's going to cause massive inflation. That's what happened. So the problem we have in our economy today is that prices have gone up massively. Wages adjusted for inflation is down. People's pocketbooks are hurting.
So, M.I.M.S, your hot take on that?
I would argue we're not really.
They're not really addressing the issue, but nonetheless, Kamala Harris's and Joe Biden's policy have not helped. But there is no solution to the inflation besides getting rid of this Federal Reserve and its debt-based fiat monetary system. There's no reason that we as a people should be borrowing money from a private banking cartel and then have to pay that money back with interest that never existed in the first place, which means we have to continue to borrow. We're enslaving ourselves through debt and with the devalued pieces of paper. So the inflation is here from the beginning. You know, we should have never had a private central bank. We should never have fiat currency. You know, this is why they took the dollar off the gold standard, so they can create this type of environment. So understand something. Public enemy is number one is the Federal Reserve, especially when you're talking about inflation and devaluation of the dollar and the challenges that people have to maintain a decent standard of living. You know, when we look at the strike that's going on and just anything in the world, it ties back to the Federal Reserve and this debt-based fiat model that they've created since 1913. The Federal Reserve, a central bank, was the worst thing that could happen to this country. And that was even said by the founding fathers.
Things are so crazy right now, guys. Like, you don't know what is real, who is behind everything. So you have to stay really open-minded right now. So, you know, there's a whole thing now of they think that, you know, with weather modification is why the Hurricane Helene went through where it went through, that there's different minerals that BlackRock and other big corporations want that are in North Carolina, and they basically want people to leave their house so that they can get it. And then you got the dock workers. Who knows? Is this planned?
I was just saying, they were fighting for that. They were actually, those people in those towns didn't want the drilling to take place. Now, the other flip, you know, the thing is, there's so many dynamics, because I've heard a significant portion of those towns that got flooded were sundown towns. And so there's a spiritual thing tied to that as well. But, you know, the whole thing is that.
What do you mean by that? I've never heard that, sundown.
Yeah, so sundown towns is essentially where Black people couldn't go past a certain hour or bad things would happen to them. but also a lot of that land was originally black people's land in the first place, and it was stolen from them. So there's a whole history, behind that as well. But we definitely can cover sundown towns on another show. But yes, there are things that they're doing for a particular reason that helps certain groups of individuals. And a lot of these things don't happen by accident. They take advantage, and they do know how to manipulate these things like you talk about, Mike.
So here's just a quick piece on the strike going on right now.
I've also been talking to the members here on the ground, the individuals here that are now taking to the picket line. They tell me one of their top concerns, inflation that we have all been living under for the past 4 years. They say that their wages are not adequately keeping up with the cost of living increase, and that they need these wage increases reflected in their next contract so they can just keep up and get. I've also been talking to the members.
So again, guys, inflation is the most sinister evil, to quote Ron Paul. And again, we can agree or disagree on politics, but no matter who's in charge, there's going to be inflation, right? It doesn't really matter. It might be worse with one or not the other. But again, as Ricardo always says, the Federal Reserve private banking cartel is enemy number one. So now the question is, what are you going to do to defeat public enemy number one? M.I.M.S, how do we do that?
Yeah, and it's a catch-20. Well, we do that with gold and silver, betting against the debt, taking away the power from the Federal Reserve and central banks by using God's money, especially in these times, to preserve our wealth, because that's where the world is going back to. We're going back to a gold standard, believe it or not. The world is going back to a gold standard. BRICS. Central banks buy more gold than ever. Countries backing their CBDC by gold, But the thing is even with this strike, they want to pin people against each other. They want to say, well, these men are greedy. This is the worst time to strike. People need to be able to get their products and services. America's hurting. Farmers need to export their goods. But really, that's what they want. They want that division, when really the issue is these corporations and the Federal Reserve and the devaluation of the currency and automation. This is a very real thing. The robots, the AI, okay, they're replacing their jobs. They're replacing their jobs. And then what happens when they replace these people's jobs? They already have a UBI, social credit score, like living off the government, dependent on the system type of scenario, CBDC. They already have it rolled out. They don't want you independent. They don't want you self-sufficient. They want to create a situation, an environment where you're reliant upon them and the solution that they have for how they see society, because they have a way that they want society to look. They have a way that they want the economy to look. They have a way that they want you to go about living your life, and you not being the one that has that ability to determine your future and your outcome. And so I'm with the strike. I'm with it because for one thing, automation is horrible. What it's going to do to jobs right now. We already know it's going to replace. But the problem is the solutions that they're offering are not great solutions. And these corporations, he talked about it. They're making billions upon billions of dollars, just like the banks. The banks are making billions upon billions of dollars off of the people. They're loaning out 100% of your money. Okay, they're not giving you any interest on your money. Your dollar is losing purchasing power. The banks are hitting you with interest fees and late fees and all kind of stuff, making all kind of money off you. The system's corrupt, it's broken and unfair. So what we're seeing is our symptoms of a system in collapse. Everything that you're seeing is symptoms of a system in collapse. And do not be divided that, these people are greedy or these people are inconsiderate, or no, the real problem is these corporations and these central banks exploiting the people, and we have to at some point say no more.
No, 100%. And again, guys, if we want to take our power back, it starts with currency. It starts with real money like gold and silver. Is this a new all-time high, Ricardo? 2681 for gold?
I've seen it hit 2690 something. So okay. we're in all-time high territory. It's going to go to 3,000. Gold is going higher, folks. Gold is going much higher. Silver is going much higher. A lot of these tech stocks and stuff, during war times. You're going to see a sell-off, because of the uncertainty. But you're going to see blockchain and crypto asset and physical assets take off as a hedge, as it's a risk off scenario. And right now with war that's going on with Israel and Iran, Israel's attacking everybody. They want to go after everybody. They're attacking Yemen. They're attacking Lebanon. They have killed the Hezbollah main general or whatever he was, the top guy in Hezbollah. Okay. And now Iran is striking and sending missiles over into Israel, and Israel will respond, and they're going to respond in magnitudes worse than what Iran has done with the defense of the United States, and it's going to escalate. Things are going to get worse. So we could see oil prices spike. We could see more inflation. We can get drawn into a worse situation here, folks, that can affect the import-export supply chain dynamic even worse than what the protests that are going on right now with the shoreman lineman protests.
Yeah, and so again, guys, we're gonna get into this a little bit more, but silver at $31.68, Bitcoin at 61,000. So those are the three assets that you can take full ownership of and have in your possession that take power away from the Federal Reserve and the central banks.
Yeah.
And just to go with what Ricardo was talking about there, you guys have probably seen this, but this is what's going on right now in Israel. I saw one of these that was like long, like it was like a 5-minute.
This is what they want. While you go ahead and find it, this is what they want. This has to happen, and the reason that it has to happen is because the monetary system is resetting, and it's about power and it's about control over the masses. And but this is also something that the Zionists have wanted for. Yeah.
And again, I mean, this just isn't good. I don't know who or what to believe, but all I know is this didn't happen.
Unfolding as we speak against Israel.
When
It has
Trump was
been
in
launched
power.
from Iranian territory.
No, that's just a commercial.
Yeah, we're just going to see escalation, more chaos. But this is why you got to hedge. This is why you got to prepare. You got to save your money in physical silver and gold. That is going to preserve your wealth and grow your wealth. You got to, obviously, we talked about, water and food, the ability to protect you and your family, medicine, get what you need, be able to provide and prepare for 3 to 6 months out. We're getting closer to the election here in the United States, and they're going to create more chaos here. We saw what happened with CrowdStrike and how the internet went down for a lot of places, government all over, people that couldn't go to work, they couldn't access their systems, said it was a cyber attack. Well, now because the United States is supporting Israel, and they keep talking about a cyber attack, it could be, we have enemies that are foreign and we have enemies that are domestic.
Yep.
So at this point right now, literally tomorrow, we could wake up and they could say that Iran decided to do a cyber attack on our infrastructure, or they could say that Russia cut the internet cable down at the bottom of the ocean. It's all, at this point, you wouldn't know what to believe. And
Right.
things accelerate and pick up so quickly. And it's a blackout. And at that point, you are where you are. You got what you got.
Mhm.
I don't trust these people, and you want to be prepared.
No, 100%, guys. And this was one of the best videos I saw all week. So I wanted to bring it to your attention so you guys understand how important it is to get real money right now.
And today is a prime example of it. A 5 times the move of gold in one day. Well, what happens if it's that way for 1 week or 1 month or 1 year? And that's how fast that this will move when it really moves. It'll blow people's mind. And I will go on record and we'll have a conversation someday where you and I will wake up on a Monday morning and you're going to call me at 5 in the morning or something and be like, Andy, holy shit. Do you see the price of silver? And I'm going to say, no. And I'm going to look at the phone and I'm going to say, holy shit. That's how it's going to happen. They're going to let it go. And it's going to happen at a time that catches Wall Street and the American public off guard. And if you aren't positioned, you're dead in the water.
All right, so I want to go ahead, do 20 minutes.
Our long-term.
This is Andy Schuckman. He's been in the silver industry for about 30 years. To me, I think he's one of the smartest guys in the industry. So he's essentially saying you need to prepare for a major event when the prices of gold and silver will skyrocket, and there will probably be a time you literally can't even buy it because the demand will be so high.
Duration debt when we're just obviously giving up on fighting inflation and continuing to spend and destroy the value of the dollar. So it had the opposite effect. But what it is doing is uninverting the yield curve where they're pushing down the front end and the back end is selling off and the rates are going higher because no one wants to hold our debt of any duration because of the risks to inflation and to war and to all of the other things that are kind of floating around out there. These are very strange times, man. It truly is. And it's not about making money. It's not about that. It's about return of your money rather than return on it right now. And I don't think it's.
Did you catch that, M.I.M.S?
Return of and not return on.
Yeah,
and
let's listen to that again so people can catch it, and then I want you to break it down.
Wants to hold our debt of any duration because of the risks to inflation and to war and to all of the other things that are kind of floating around out there. These are very strange times, man. It truly is. And it's not about making money. It's not about that. It's about return of your money rather than return on it right now. And
so he said there's two parts to what he said. One is that nobody wants the debt. And you know why? Because what is the purchasing power of the United States dollar 10 years from now? You know, who is accepting it globally? What is its credit and status around the globe 10 years from now? You know, if the dollar, I think we said, I can't remember, that 78% of its purchasing power since 2000.
2000, yeah.
Since the 2000s, it's lost 78% of its purchasing power. We know since the inception of the Federal Reserve in 1913, it's lost over 98% of its purchasing power. We know they printed trillions upon trillions of dollars, and now we're in this cycle where the Federal Reserve is cutting rates and debt is exploding even more, over $35 trillion in debt. So what's happening here is that the world's no longer thinking that the dollar is a safe place to be and to have their money over the next 10 years. So the yields are rising while you have the Federal Reserve printing money from nowhere to manipulate the short end of the rate up for the treasuries, just rigging and manipulating the economy. So the world is dumping dollars and de-dollarizing. And the second thing that he said there was about the it's not about, what does it say? What was a particular word he said?
Let me say it again. Because it is a little.
It's return of your money and not return on your money. Okay.
Yes.
So this is not the time to be thinking in the terms of how to get rich quick. This is not the time to be thinking of how to gain massive percentages on your money. This is the time to actually have real money. Because understand something, the dollar is not money. The dollar is a unit of debt. It's fiat currency. Nobody has real money. There's no real money circulating in the system. It's all paper and digits on a screen. Real money is silver and gold, God's money. So what he's saying is it's a return of money. You taking that lie and exchanging it for the truth that God's money is money, at the United States dollar is not money. It's you returning to money, getting money, as opposed to you focusing on, the interest or the gains that you will make on your money, on your dollars. And that's what people really need to understand. It's not about the paper money. It's not about the dollar. It's really about you getting real money. And in that process of you getting money, you're going to protect and grow your wealth. You know, and I talk about it all the time on TikTok. You know, the gold and silver have done about 10% year over year for the last 20 years. So even if you're thinking about percentage wise, understand something, that your wealth is growing and increasing while you have it in real money, but it's declining while you're holding paper.
I deserve some clank clank with fire from M.I.M.S right there. All right, let's listen to what Andy has to say a little bit more.
Lowered rates on the by dropping the federal funds rate, the back end of the curve went higher. In other words, the yield, the bond market fell and the yield went higher, because who wants to hold our long-term duration debt when we're just obviously giving up on fighting inflation and continuing to spend and destroy the value of the dollar? So it had the opposite effect. But what it is doing is uninverting the yield curve, where they're pushing down the front end and the back end is selling off, and the rates are going higher because no one wants to hold our debt of any duration because of the risks to inflation and to war and to all of the other things that are kind of floating around out there. These are very strange times, man. It truly is. And it's not about making money. It's not about that. It's about return of your money rather than return on it right now. And I don't think it's even begun to accentuate itself in terms of what's going to happen. That'll happen here over the next couple of weeks as we head into the election. There's just going to be some things that I think will just automatically start to get strange.
Yeah, there's so many good articles that have been coming out lately. And, you know, this one came out today, fresh off the press. 5 reasons why silver is the investment opportunity of the decade. Going over some good points, too. Number one, leading indicator is wildly bullish. A lot of what we were mentioning, physical shortage, silver price chart
There's that
dynamics.
cup and handle right there.
Yep, the cup and handle. Short positions well below historic extremes. And then the fuel as well. And this is a quote from Warren Buffett: "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient."
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny he said that, because it's funny, man, because I remember playing poker with a guy once, and he said, I thought he was so profound, and now I realize he was full of shit. He said, playing poker is a systematic transfer of wealth from the impatient to patient. Well, I guess you could apply it that way too, but I didn't realize he stole it from Warren. Well, that's interesting to know. Yeah, man, but that is what's happening. And, you know, everyone who's in the stock market is very impatient, and they want immediate gains, not the long, suffering, torturous journey through the desert that you and I have been on for forever. But, you know, this is, and I look at gold and, you know, to me, when I say gold, I mean silver too. They have a 90% correlation through all of time. They move together, not always in symmetry. But let's just focus on gold for a moment and realize silver will exhibit a very similar pattern once the dust settles. And that is that, you know, for the past 25 years, gold has outperformed everything. And it's doubled the 10-year treasury. It's outpaced the S&P 500 with dividends reinvested. It hasn't beaten Bitcoin, but that's not a traditional asset. It's beaten everything traditional. And here it is.
So again, M.I.M.S, this is exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And, you know, just to reiterate it, is it's the only zero risk asset you can have. And we're taking power away from public enemy number one by getting gold and silver. Obviously, we like crypto, right? And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But most people are not doing that. Most people are doing 401ks, buying stocks, and they are losing. They would be better off getting gold into their own possession. Your thought?
Yeah, third-party counter risk. You know, that's what people really, you know, it's a term that most people don't use. They don't really understand. But, you know, your money's at risk. Your financial future, the stability, your ability to provide for yourself and your family is at risk. The longer you leave it in dollars, the longer you leave it in the stock market. You know, and gold is a tier 1 asset. There's zero risk associated to it. There's no third-party counter risk. Okay, that's God's money. It's been here since the times of Egypt. It's money all over the world. It's constitutional money. Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution. 12 states or so in the United States, gold and silver is legal tender. You can spend it like you spend cash. It's important that people understand that there is no third-party counter risk, but there is third-party counter risk holding dollars and being in the stock market and having your wealth tied to it. You know, so it's important that people have a significant holdings in physical silver and gold and real money, God's money, during these times.
No, 100%. I'm going to pull up. Got to talk some crypto before we leave, guys. Okay, this is my opinion. All right. You can see here, this is a month, okay, of banter bubbles. Other than Hex, okay, SUI that I've been telling you guys to buy for 8 months is up 130% in a month. Okay. So what I need you guys to understand is the bull run's here. Okay. The crypto market's going to go up. It's going to go down, you know, and the crypto influencers are going to change their mind every single day. You know, yesterday they were all like, oh my gosh, we're going to the moon. And the day they're like, oh, October's canceled. You know, they say now we're going to go down. Dollar cost average, guys. Okay. So I am huge on SUI. I think it's going to be the next Solana. Great tech. And it's just kind of launching. So you definitely right now want to get involved and understand how cryptocurrency works and, you know, how things function in this market. So you can see here, Bitcoin did take a dip today, but we did kind of get a little bit of a higher high. So we got this higher than this one right here, but we still haven't been able to break this. So the longer this takes to break that we'll just call it 70,000 we hit back in July, the faster it's going to go up. Okay. So you can see here, I think we're already heading back up. Yeah. So I think that was already the low that was in. So I'm buying right now. I'm showing you guys how to win. You know, we can go, you know, just looking here, what's been happening in the last 7 days. Okay. Meme coins still for the most part. You got Mantra, SUI still up 3% this week. But again, you guys have got to take action and actually start understanding how to use DeFi. I just made a video today of how you can easily 2 to 3x your exposure on SUI. And that's the main thing that I'm doing right now is focusing on that. But guys, you just have to be consistent with it and not, again, like Ricardo talked about earlier, is not focus on, I got to get rich today. That's not how things work. It's the wrong mindset to have. You have to do things consistently and be patient. Okay. And then learn how to leverage the system. I'm taking my asset, borrowing it against it, buying more of the asset, borrowing against it. You could not have done this 10 years ago, well, even like 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. So the technology we have now at our fingertips with DeFi and the blockchain is unheard of. And most people still can't even wrap their head around buying Bitcoin when it's number one asset of the last 10 years. So it's just frustrating for me. So I'm telling you guys, learn cryptocurrency, blockchain, how to move on it, or you're going to get left behind.
Yep. Yeah, folks, we're going into a massive bull run. They're going to print dollars. Dollars are going to lose value. Those cheap dollars are going to chase real assets. The real assets, the new money of the system is going to be blockchain and physical assets, silver and gold. Everything looks better than the dollar right now. Get real resources, get real assets. That's the name of the game. Yep. And if you're going to get silver and gold, get it from at-cost metals. Get at-cost metals. Have the best prices. Get back to whoever shared this out with you, me or Mike. Whoever said it with you, get in the at-cost metals so you can get silver and gold at cost, get it delivered. Don't overpay. No markup on the asset.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we should do a quick price before we sign off See,
documentation, conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so folks, this is the thing. We get excited about the opportunity that we have. Obviously, there's a crisis, but there's an opportunity amongst the crisis, and there are some people who will do well, and some people who will do not as well. And it really will come down to who they follow, the information they're consuming, and the action that they take. And so we want to make sure that we at least bring to our community what's going on. And how they can take action and get access to these assets at the best price possible.
Exactly. So Canadian silver maple leafs at cost metals, $33.64, and this is with spot silver at $31.49. So we're just a little over $2 over spot for a Canadian silver maple leaf from SD Bullion. They want 38.33 with a card or 36.80. Even if you buy $35.60, if you buy 500 or more with a checker wire, you are still overpaying by over about $2. So once again, SD Bullion, the lowest price period, is proven false. And I don't even have to check this, guys. We are the best prices on gold and silver every day, bar none. We beat everybody. This membership pays for itself if you are smart in getting real money as much as possible.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to be bringing you guys live updates from the launch of At Cost Metals in Dallas, Texas this weekend. So make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channels. I don't know if we're going to be taking off Facebook or what's going to go on there, but you definitely need to subscribe to us on X and on
all of our socials.
YouTube. Yeah, all the socials. Ricardo is Wealth and Assets, the letter N, Assets on X. So make sure you give him a call. I'm Michael Tharp, EDU. The election's coming up. We're probably going to be censored and banned. So join the Runners Facebook group and the Telegram group down below, and our free school.
And my website as well. You guys
runwithrick.com. Yes.
Runwithrick.com.
All right, guys. Stay safe. Get prepared. We are going to win this war against the evil, whatever you want to call them, cabal, deep state, because we are in the right. We have the love, and we have the people and the connections to make sure that these people will never win.
All right, everybody. Be safe. Be blessed. Lace up.